I never intended to buy a Panasonic G9 II, but I'm pretty glad I did because it turned out to be what I think is still the best Micro Four Thirds camera out there. Now though, 2 years down the road, how do I feel about this compact mirrorless, and would it still be worth buying in 2025? Let's find out. Welcome to Adventures in Aperture.
My name is Matty and this is Adventures in Aperture, the place to be for those seeking a deeper dive into camera and lens reviews. Come along as we explore cool locations with gear new and old, all in the pursuit of enjoying photography.
So there's a story why I bought the G9 II, and it speaks to a lot of the strengths of this camera, so bear with me. At the time, in 2023, a lot of my video work was for an automotive YouTube video channel, you know which one. And a lot of these jobs involved attending car launches where you'd fly in, you'd get a short amount of time to create content with the car, and then you'd fly back out again. This massively limits the amount of equipment you can take with you because, you know, it's a cabin bag, basically. And this drew me towards the Micro Four Thirds system. Small cameras, small lenses, exactly what I was looking for. But there was a problem. My OM system cameras didn't shoot 4K at 120p, so I couldn't capture slow motion sequences in high resolution, and also the rest of the video specifications were a little bit limited. Of course, OM system lenses work with Panasonic MFT cameras, so the solution was the G9 II, which was cheaper and lighter than the video-centric GH7, yet offers incredible movie making specifications. Along with 4K 120p, which helps me capture that slow motion footage as I said, the G9 II offers open gate 5.7K, and in the space of the last couple of years this has become more and more important, with many clients asking me to film in open gate so they can choose the format of the final product further down the line. Also very important was the Vlog profile, which is decent and enables me to edit the footage to a high degree to put my own creative stamp on it. I think the best approach when reviewing the last 2 years of using this camera is to list my likes and dislikes, so let's get started. First up, let's start with a like, and it's the resolution. 2 years down the line, and despite a number of newer cameras being launched by OM System, the 25 megapixel G9 II is still the highest resolution Micro Four Thirds camera out there, sharing first place with that GH7. I've taken thousands of photos over the last 2 years, and on the whole, I'm pretty pleased with the results. Look, I also own APS-C and full frame cameras, and of course, the dynamic range can't match that of a full frame, but you're still fully capable of getting pro-level image quality, and I've used the G9 II for landscapes, sport photography, and plenty of wildlife photography too. In fact, let's take a look at a selection of images I've taken over the last 2 years. Now for a dislike. Well, not necessarily a dislike, but one small gripe I have with the G9 II is that for a Micro Four Thirds camera, the G9 II isn't that small. OM system cameras are smaller across the board, especially the OM5 and its Mark II version. That said, the GH7 is even bigger than the G9 II, and when portability is a massive pillar for the MFT system, you want to keep weight down. Big cameras are a bad thing. Look, what I'm saying is I can live with the size of the G9 II, it's absolutely fine, but it's a good job it isn't any bigger than it actually is. I mean, I even paired my G9 II with a half cage to add accessories like a monitor when I'm filming, and this makes it even bigger, but look, it still fits in even my smallest rucksack, so that's fine with me. Back to the positives, and the face detection autofocus is awesome, and the fact that there's 2 SD card slots means that I can make an instant backup of my content, or I can use the cards in relays to extend my shooting capacity, and the fact that they're both SD cards means I'm not switching between an SD or, you know, a CF Express, so that's good too. Talking of capacity, here's another dislike, and it's the batteries, which are okay in terms of battery life. The CEPA rating is 390 shots. But I would love them to last just a little bit longer before needing to swap out for a new one. I ended up buying a load of third-party batteries, so I wouldn't get caught out with no power. They weren't expensive and they do the job nicely. So that was my solution to that problem. Now the next one is a little divisive, but I actually like the menu system from the G9 II. Some photographers don't, that's absolutely fine, but I find it fairly straightforward and well laid out. One thing that does bug me about the G9 II though is the position of the playback review button, which is too near the electronic viewfinder. It means the sensor sort of thinks you're putting your eye up to the viewfinder even though you're just putting your finger up to push the button. So not great for that. The choice of in-camera picture styles is good, and I will often switch between Vivid and Vlog for 90% of my shooting, although the Leica mono option is also very cool and well worth experimenting with. And then, as we see, of course, there's the video options, which in my opinion are excellent. This is a camera that's easy to use for movie making, whether you're just using the body and a lens, or if you're using the camera as part of a larger rig system. You've got so many resolutions, frame rates, and codecs to pick from, and let's remember that this camera was never really meant to be seen as a video first device. But I have to be honest and say, I actually prefer using the G9 II more than using the GH7 for video. In fact, why don't we check out a selection of footage from the last 2 years so you can get a flavour of what the G9 II can capture. One thing we haven't spoken about is price. 2 years ago, buying a G9 II would have set you back around £2,200 or $2,200. 2 years down the line, the G9 II body only costs just shy of £1,700. That's a pretty competitive price given the video specifications on offer and for the overall build quality of the camera, which is of course weather sealed and suitable for professional use. One thing I think many take for granted is just how well the IBIS on the G9 II operates, offering up to 8 stops of compensation, which of course comes in very handy when you're using longer lenses where camera shake can be more prevalent. The EVF and LCD are decent enough but not mind-blowing, although the vari-angle hinge on the LCD works really well and stands up to a lot of abuse. Somewhat strangely, because they're both Micro Four Thirds, I've never really warmed that much to Panasonic lenses. I prefer to use OM system lenses instead. And I tend to pair the G9 II mostly with the 40-150 f2.8 Pro and the 12-40 f2.8 Pro, which is on the camera now. Between those two lenses, I've got pretty much everything covered, though if I'm shooting landscapes and really want to go ultra wide, I'll swap out to the 8-25 f4. These lenses make for an incredibly lightweight setup that covers me for both stills and video jobs. So, 2 years later, does the G9 II still make sense? Well, I'd have to say yes, but I don't know for how much longer. There are loads of cameras out there that outperform the G9 II when it comes to stills. And there's plenty of cameras that offer better video, but not in one compact package and not for the same price as the G9 II. In that respect, I think the G9 II still holds a really important place in the camera world and hands down is my pick for the best Micro Four Thirds camera to date and probably the best Micro Four Thirds camera ever. Weirdly, I think increased competition won't come from traditional mirrorless cameras. I think it will come from cameras like the Nikon ZR or the Canon C50, small devices that appeal to hybrid shooters who want to create both stills and movies from a portable camera. But what do you think about the Panasonic G9 II 2 years down the road? Do you own one? Have you enjoyed using it? Are you going to be buying one? Or maybe have you reached the end of the line with your G9 II and you're looking to sell? Let me know in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and as always, please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.